I've seen a lot of your podcasts and people are like talking about like, oh, like I didn't go to school because I was dating a girl.
Oh my God, that pisses me.
Or vice versa.
Right.
Even female athletes. Oh, I have a boyfriend back home. I have a girlfriend back home. You know, they do all that stuff. And I don't want to go to school because I don't want my relationship. Listen, I'm going to tell you right now. There is going to be girls and guys when you come back from school. If this doesn't work out, there's a lot more. But you're going to stop yourself from getting a free education because of a boyfriend that you may not even be with or a girlfriend that you may not even be with in 2 weeks. And guess what? You're back now. You didn't go to the 4-year school.
Now you're going to resent them.
Now you're going to resent. Yeah, you're going to basically resent them. And why? Because
you gave up your future.
You gave up your future. You know how many times I've heard that? I'm like,
what kind of logic is that?
I literally look at some of the young athletes. I'm like, you're kidding me. Like,
para meter un bofetazo.
Yeah, like if you were my kid right now, like, I'd, like, sorry.
Wake up. Welcome to 31 Vision Podcast. I got a close friend here, ready to introduce a lot of stuff to you guys, a lot of side stories. If this is your first time viewing our podcast, 31 Vision is a nonprofit organization for young athletes. Our goal is to help mentor young athletes to understand the process of thriving in college and, you know, not getting duped by recruiters. And I'm not going to bore you with the details. Just make sure to watch. If you're a parent, if you're a high school athlete, or even if you're in college and you're thinking about transferring, you can find a lot of stuff that'll educate you. Without further ado, why don't you introduce yourself?
My name is Andy Baca. Y'all call me Baca, obviously. Been friends for a while. Been dealing with young athletes for about 6 to 7 years right now. To date,
takes a lot of patience, huh?
A lot. Trust me. I mean, the type of young athletes that we've had takes a lot of patience, but at the end, the reward is far more than what you can ever hope for.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
All right, so let's take it back to when you're a little kid. So when did you start playing sports? Was it just football or you played all kinds of sports?
So my first sport, as every Hispanic
kid,
was baseball.
Okay.
Baseball was my thing. I was going to be the next MLB star. You know, the whole shenanigans, late practices. Then around like 7, 8 years old, my mom wanted us to get into self-defense. So we got into mixed martial arts.
Nice.
We did mixed martial arts for about 2 years. And then coincidentally, there was a coach for tackle football that his son was also doing MMA. So he saw me and my brother. He's like, oh, you guys are really athletic. You know what you're doing. How about you come and transition this to football?
Right. So
never played tackle football. Obviously, you play football when you're a little kid, backyard football, tackle, kill the man with the ball.
Right.
All that little stuff. So my first time I went out there and he wanted me to play running back.
Okay.
I was like,
Baca running back.
I was like, all right, cool. What do I do? He's like, oh, you got to get the hands off this way. And I'm like, can I just get the ball like this and just run? Like,
right.
That's all I know. Like, no, you got to do it this way. So running back was a whole 2 hours and I was done with it. Then we tried quarterback. And
okay.
That was another, like, I don't understand. Can I just throw the ball deep? Like, let's go deep every play.
And because you played baseball, did you always have an arm?
I always had that arm. Yeah,
nice,
I always had that arm. So then that, again, lasted maybe another practice. And then finally, they were like, hey, listen, you're tall. Why don't we put you at receiver?
Okay.
Perfect. And it took off. I was playing receiver since 8 years old. I played corner, played a Doral. So I played corner, played receiver, you know, little stuff.
Right.
And then eventually I just kicked off from there, introduced myself to flag football at the same time because, you know, obviously the house season right there, you have tackle and then you have that whole spring season that you're just waiting. So that's when flag was introduced to us.
Right.
So I've been around flag football for about close to 20, 21 years.
Nice.
Yeah. It's all good.
It's all good.
It's all good. Seen it all, done it all.
Oh yeah. Oh, all right. So you were at the same youth football place the whole time, right? Doral?
Yeah, I was at Doral. All throughout my freshman year.
Going to high school, did you also go to somewhere in Doral as well?
So my high school year, obviously, when you're an optimist, you have a bunch of these coaches that are coaching at high schools. So that's like a fuel. You know, you basically just there. It's like a farm system. You have them when they're little, then you want them to have them in high school, and then you give them up to college.
Yeah.
So my first school, as my freshman year, I went to Matter Academy.
Okay.
right there because my defensive coordinator was the head coach at Matter. I was 14 years old, and I remember showing up to this high school, and it's a lot different. Like, when you're an optimist, you're the big kid. You're the big fish, and But then when you go to high school,
now you're the little guy.
Now you're the little guy.
Oh yeah.
So when I walked into that locker room, I was like, I'm better than you, better than you, I'm better than you. And when I got out on the field, they showed me that you're little here. Like, this is not.
You gotta earn your stripes, young boy.
You gotta earn it, and I earned it. Like, I went through it, like hamburger drills,
Oof, my favorite.
one-on-ones. I was getting roasted. I was getting ran over, and I was like, "Holy moly, this is the real deal."
Yeah.
So then, the head coach left after the spring season.
Okay.
So I was like, I'm not staying here.
Yeah.
So all my friends were at Doral Academy. So I transferred over to Doral Academy.
Mm-hmm.
They were all my friends were there.
Did you get to play right away when you transferred, or was there any repercussions for it? Or
no, at that time, right now, because remember that was my spring season. Because I was still technically an optimist throughout their fall season.
Oh,
so their spring season. So that was like the spring summer transition.
Gotcha.
So I transferred in right on time.
Got it.
So I was a 10th grader going in, and I was playing JV.
Okay.
And same thing, I was playing receiver. And one day we're there practicing, warming up, and I'm throwing the ball. And the varsity offensive coordinator, he's like, "Hey, you can throw the ball?" I'm like, "Yeah, I mean, everybody can throw the ball. I mean, you play football for a reason. You can throw football." So he's like, No. I want to see you run, like, throw some routes. I threw some routes, and he's like, "All right, you're going to come play quarterback." But
were you like dumbfounded? You're like, wait a minute, like, I'm a receiver.
I'm a receiver, coach. Like, what are you doing? Mind you, the guy that was there, he was a stud. Yeah. Like, I'm talking to you, like,
what year? Do you remember what year he was in?
2000.
Was he like a freshman, sophomore?
He was a year older than me, so he was a junior.
Oh, so it was close. Okay.
Yeah, he was basically a sophomore, junior. Yeah. But when I tell you that this kid was a stud, like breaking runs, throwing bombs, and I'm like, I'm not gonna start over. He's like, No, we don't need you to start. We just need you to be a backup just in case.
Yeah.
So coincidentally, that season.
Did that cut your wide receiver reps?
Yeah.
That sucks.
Tremendously. Like, I went from going to receiver practice to now going to quarterback practice all the time. And I'm like, oh, this is not what I wanted, but okay. Right. I roll with the punches. I've always been like that. I roll with the punches. So we were in the fourth game, and he got suspended because he missed 2 practices that week. So the coach
ran a tight ship, huh?
Coach, he ran a tight ship always.
I respect that.
Yeah. That's the way I've always ran it the way that I was taught. Like, like
structure.
And I saw it. So he missed 2 practices, and he was like, "Hey, you're up." And I'm like, I'm like, oh, okay.
Did you know the playbook already? Were you kind of ready?
I knew like some of the plays, but then I'll look at my wrist and I'll ask the guys, like, "Hey, what are we doing? Like, what are we doing?"
Eyes like this.
My eyes are lit up, and he's like, "Yo, you're handing the ball." Okay, guys. Like, there's always coaches out there, and they're always looking at another player. That's your chance to stand out. Like, I have a couple kids that they've gotten letters because coaches are there watching other players, and they just
stumbled upon them, right?
Yeah, it's just crazy.
I love hearing stories like
that, and it's crazy.
Yep.
So 7-on-7, whatever. So we did the 7-on-7 thing. So incoming my junior year, August, I grew like maybe 3-4 inches.
Everything happened at a great time, baby.
At a great time. I grew 3-4 inches. I went from like a buck.
And you were lifting the whole time. So
yeah, to like 170, nice. 160, 171, yeah, around there.
Nice.
And we weren't the best. I'm not gonna lie to you and tell you that we were the best. But like you said, I did what I had to do to get my name out there.
Yeah.
Whether we lost, whether we did, I made sure that I played hard because you never knew who was out there.
Yep.
And my junior year, I played against some top tier players, like players that went to Division I and stuff like that. So there was always coaches out there. So I made it upon myself, like, hey, listen, you're here to watch this guy, but let me show you what I got. And maybe we can work with that. And then just little by little, started doing that. My junior year, at the end of the season, I think I had maybe 2 offers. Okay. 2. But of course, like,
still, it's only your junior season.
2 offers, and
for a position you just started playing.
I just started playing. Everybody was always like, "How long you been playing the position?" I'm like, 5 minutes.
You're like, how long?
5 minutes. I just started. So my coach was always like, "Hey, stay patient, be ready, like, whatever." So then, like you said, a lot of camps. Back then, remember Nike Spark?
Yep.
The Nike Spark, that was the biggest thing. That was huge for us. Like, the med ball toss, all that stuff. That was huge for us.
Yep.
So I went to there, and then I stumbled on another coach, Eddie Arza. Eddie Arza, he was a quarterback coach. He coached a lot with Frank Pons. He was also the quarterback coach for UM right now.
Nice.
So he had like a showcase, and it was
Just a quarterback showcase or just a in general?
No, a quarterback showcase.
Nice.
And it was at UM, like a little practice fields, whatever. I'll never forget this. And he called me. He's like, "Hey, I want you to come." And I'm talking to you. When I got there, Teddy Bridgewater was there because Teddy Bridgewater was in my class.
Ooh.
And everybody was on Teddy Bridgewater. That's when he was fully like, I'm going to UM, I'm going to UM, I'm going to UM.
Yeah, he was a big deal back then. Yeah.
He was the main guy. So I was kind of like trying to like stay within Teddy. Like if Teddy went to this group, I try to like sneak my way into this group.
Yeah.
If
Smart.
Teddy,
a lot of people would have gone away.
Problem. A lot of people were, yeah, of course.
Smart.
Teddy Bridgewater, like, oh my God,
Yeah.
So I kind of like did the opposite. I try to like go with him.
Smart.
So I don't know if I have the picture anymore, but there's a picture of me throwing a ball, and you see Teddy Bridgewater is like right behind me. Like we're always together, like whatever. So the showcase was called Crons, CRONS. So after the whole thing, he's like, you know what Cron stands for? And I was like, no. He's like, come ready or never start.
Oof, I like that.
Come ready or never start. So he's basically was like, listen, the reason for this showcase is you always got to be ready, because at the end of the day, you're playing quarterback and you always got to be ready for anything. So that to me, that whole summer, I literally was like, all right, I got to come ready because I'm not going to start. I'm come ready. I'm never going to start. So
that's a great mentality.
Yeah, I was literally always ready. I was always on top. My coach was on. The coach had also left. I forgot to mention the coach had also left. So we had a new head coach. But
so going to your senior year, now you had another coach?
I had another coach. Oof. I had another coach. So it was a little bit different. But at the end of the day, my head coach was the type of person where I get the mentality of, you miss a practice, you're going to get penalized. You miss 2, you're not playing. We had to come in every Monday with our shirts had to be tucked in. No jewelry, no nothing. You had to check in on Mondays. Like every Monday morning, you had to check in. You had to wear shirt and tie. Shirt and tie. I
love coaches.
Shirt and tie every Monday morning. When we had game days, we were allowed to wear our jerseys, but we had to wear shirt and tie. So a lot of my stuff, I got it from him, and he basically kept me up. And
What's his name?
Mike Iglesias.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah, Mike Iglesias. So he had a lot of connections because he went to Columbus, and his coach, funny story, his coach was Mario Cristobal.
Oh.
His lineman coach was Mario Cristobal. And this was when Mario Cristobal was at FIU.
Okay.
So Mario Cristobal came to my school, and he was like, who's this kid? And he's like, that's my quarterback. He's like, this kid can play. Never got an offer. Okay. This kid can play. Time to come to my camp. Went to his camp. Sure enough.
This is still the summer, right?
This is still the summer.
Junior year.
This is sure enough. Okay. Who's at the camp? Eddie Arza. Eddie Arza's at the camp. Quarterback camp where Frank Pons and everybody. So Eddie Arza was like, what are you doing here? I'm like, I was invited. He's like, good. Again, who was there again? And all of Miami.
Of course.
Who was there at Miami quarterback showcases? Teddy Bridgewater.
Of course.
What did I do?
Can't be a quarterback camp without Teddy.
You could not be a quarterback at that time without Teddy. So what did I do?
Teddy's group. Smart.
Teddy's group. Happens.
When all the smoke. I
wanted it. I was like, listen, you can do this. I'm going to try to do it. You may beat me, but I'm going to beat you. I'm going to try to beat you. Like, I wasn't trying to hide from anybody else.
Yeah, look better in a sorry group.
Yeah. What am I going to be, a big fish in a small pond? No, I want to be a big fish in the big pond.
Nice.
And what I do, I'm going to follow you.
Nice.
So I kind of like talked to him. We talked a little bit. But that's how it was. And then my senior year came. We had a new coaching staff. So we kind of like switched the entire offense. Kind of ran.
How was that? Was that a big adjustment, or was it like was it a completely different philosophy, or was it a smooth transition?
So we had 2 offensive coordinators. We had a passing game one. And
Interesting.
We had a running game one.
I've never heard of that.
Yeah, that was the first time. So we ran a wing T, a double wing. Yeah, we ran like a double wing, but it was more for film to like sure that I can run, because now they didn't want me to be quarterback. They wanted me to be athlete. Because at that time, everybody was recruiting athletes to play anywhere else.
Yeah. So
my head coach, like my 4th game of the season, comes out to me. He's like, hey, listen, we have enough film on you running. We're going to switch and we're going to go to a spread offense. I was like, I'm back.
All right. You're like, let's open it up, baby.
5 wide.
Light them up.
Ready to go. It was awesome. And that's when everything started pouring in. All the schools. Now, coming out of my senior year, we were average, 6-4, nothing crazy. I had the 2 offers that I had already,
From junior, yeah.
and I had 3 after that.
Okay.
And I had one was Cincinnati with Brian Kelly, West Virginia with Doc Holliday, and Kansas State with Bill Snyder.
Nice.
Yeah. So that was that.
Those are great schools.
They were great. Awesome. So I was kind of like, oh man, I'm like, whatever. It's kind of hard, but whatever. My GPA was great. My testing was a little bit off.
Okay.
So that when you have that, you gotta have this, but you can't have that. So my test was a little off. So
guys, real quick, sorry. Keep that. So what Baca just mentioned, super important as far as scholarship money, any kind of college money. So correct me if I'm wrong. So the higher your GPA is, the lower your SAT and ACT scores can be. Not terrible, but there's a little wiggle room. Now, if you have a mediocre GPA, then you need to have like really good. You got to smash it in the ACT and SAT in order to right.
Yeah, it's like a balance. So basically, if you, let's say for example, you had a 2.0, you're right there. So now you need to have stellar
above average.
SATs, a little bit above average SATs and ACT scores.
Gotcha.
And then as you start climbing up your GPA, you kind of start finding that little balance of like your scores. So I had a great GPA. Like my senior year, I was laughing the other day. I'm like, I only had 2 classes my senior year, English and economy and civics, because everything else was PE. So, but I was, I never took the ACT seriously, honestly.
Me neither. I took it once. I was like, oh, whatever. Who cares?
I was like, oh, whatever.
I didn't study.
I didn't either. I literally woke up and I was like, I had to do it at Columbus. I remember, I don't know what we had to do, but I had to do it at Columbus. So I never took it seriously. So, but it ended up biting me in the end.
I bet.
So then when it came time to do clearinghouse and all that stuff, they're like, hey, your scores are not that good. Why don't you try a junior college? And I was like, I'm not going to go to Juco. I don't want to go.
I have these offers. What am I going to
Juco for? Yeah. So
before, I'm sorry, I keep cutting you off. Can you explain a little bit what clearinghouse is to the kids?
So clearinghouse basically is, it's like a...
Like your resume?
Yeah, it's like a resume that you basically send. You send all your accolades, all your grades, all your test scores, and then they basically clear you for being a Division I athlete before they are able to grant you a scholarship. So you got to.
So without that, you're effed, right?
Yeah, without clearinghouse, you basically you're screwed. Yeah. So that happens, and then I'm like, I'm not going to Juco. Why am I going to Juco?
Your ego took a little shot. You're like,
I'm not going to Juco. What? Yep. Get out of here.
Yep.
So I ended up signing to a little school in North Dakota.
The one that Dusty went to? Or somewhere else?
No, they went to Dakota College of Botany. Okay. I went to Valley City State.
Oh, that's good. Isn't that a good school?
BCSU, which there's a couple of people from here that I see all the time playing flag. I'm like, they remember me. Yeah. So I ended up signing there. I'm like, I'm not going to Juco. It's like, whatever, bro. I'm going to go play 4 years, whatever it is, what it is.
Right.
I went there. Didn't really like the vibes. I was there maybe like a month or 2, and I was like, "This is not. I can't be."
You went during the summer, or
I
went during
the summer?
Okay,
so
good.
like that whole summer workout. Yeah,
Smart.
I was literally. I graduated, and then 2 weeks later, I'm like, "Peace."
Yeah.
So me thinking, "Oh man, I'm a big man on campus." My stepdad always messaged me. He's like, "Oh, the athlete." Yeah. So I was like, I didn't cry. So my mom is crying. I'm like, "Mom,
it's not that big a deal.
Get over it, Mom.
I'm just going across the country."
Yeah, like whatever. It's like 5 plane rides, but we'll be there, Mom. So I'll never forget. I get to Fargo. I get to Fargo, North Dakota, and I'm there, and I'm like, man, this is awesome, man. I see everything. I take a nap. I wake up. Where am I? I was like, yo, Coach, where we at? He's like, this is our school. I tell you that it was literally one Walmart, one of those little antique places. I don't remember the like grocery
shop.
I don't remember the grocery name. And the school. And I'm like, wait, what happened to the McDonald's that I saw? What happened to like...
No, that's just for recruiting.
Yeah, that's just for recruiting. That's just where you fly into. They fly you in there. So the whole summer I'm there.
Culture
I'm
shock.
Yeah, big time culture shock. Hey, anybody that doesn't know, culture shock.
That's a real thing,
That's a real thing. It's a real thing. So I'm there for 2 months. I'm like, man, I'm really not vibing here. Like, I'm not liking it. My mom's like, stick it out. I'm like, Mom, listen.
You're damn near in Canada.
Yeah, no, anymore.
You sneeze and you're over there.
Whoops. Hey. So it is what it is. I ended up coming back.
Okay.
But I had a plan.
It was still summer going to fall, or this was already fall? This was already
like fall. This is like August.
Okay.
So, but I had a plan. So I ended up coming back. My mom was like, what are you going to do? I'm like, I have a plan. I'm good. Don't worry about it.
Did you really have a plan, or you just told your mom that?
I just told her. I was still like trying to figure out, I'm like, man, what do I do?
What is actually my plan?
So I ended up staying here for 2 months.
Okay.
So basically on a football season.
Right.
Come to find out, the school that I was at that year won their conference.
Oh my God.
So my stepdad calls me. He's like, did you see what happened? I go, no. He's like, dude, they just won their conference. You could have had a ring. You could have been a conference, whatever. And I'm like, that's great. Wasn't feeling it. So I wasn't going to really be there.
Yeah. And was that, I don't know if you said it, was that a JUCO or was that a school?
That was their Division 3 school.
Okay.
Division 3 school.
Yeah, and they won their conference first year.
Exactly. It was great. It was awesome.
Yeah.
So I was like, man, I don't really care. Like, it is what it is. And I was down here, 18, 19 years old. All my friends are here. So 2-3 months later, I'm like, you know what? I don't have a plan, but I'm going to make a plan. So I reached out to a recruiter. Reached out. He's like, hey, listen, I got 2 schools for you. One's an NAIA back in North Dakota.
Pass.
Which was the one that Dusty, Johan, Munchie all went to.
Right.
Or you can go to Juco in Kansas.
That's
that's
the better one. You're like, oh, this is less and lesser.
I'm like, all right. I'm like, think about it.
I was bad and worse.
I was here thinking I'm going to Division
Huge
1,
ego.
Huge ego.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to JUCO, which I didn't want to go to, which I could have done this earlier and just been already cool.
Yep.
So I'm like, what are the JUCO? And I went to Dodge City, Kansas.
Dodge City, baby.
Dodge City. Have you ever heard of Dodge City? You get the heck out of Dodge. Wizard of Oz.
Out of Dodge,
yeah, Wizard of Oz. Dorothy with the. Yeah, I've heard it all. So I didn't go on a visit.
Oh my God! I literally went in there blind.
I went in there super blind.
Oof.
Went in there super blind. The spring. Went in there super blind. I had to take a flight from here to Denver, and then from Denver fly those little small planes. Of course, and you feel everything.
You feel every second of turbulence.
And you know,
like, am I gonna die?
Boom, boom, boom. So flying to Dodge City. Dodge City was the airport. They had a Walmart, a McDonald's, and a Sonic, and an Applebee's. So I was like, oh, it's a little better.
Wow.
But
4 options.
I was like, you know what, man? Like, I got to stick it through. Like, I told my mom that
you're not quitting again.
I'm not quitting again. I'm not doing this again. And I was there my first, like, the spring season. We were playing there.
So were you, real quick, so a part that we haven't covered, guys, when you're going to another school, you need to have a conversation with a recruiting guy, right? Then after that, you need to have at some point a conversation with your position coach. Yeah. Then after that, you need to have a conversation with the head coach, right? So what I'm about to ask Baca is like, did the conversation with the recruiter go the same as the position coach and the head coach? Or
so
were there some curveballs?
The recruiter told me, hey, this coach is brand new. So basically this coach was coming in.
Clean slate.
He cleaned slate. He cleaned house.
That's a good situation.
Like he cleaned house. I'm talking to you from coaches to players and all that stuff.
Oof. Okay.
So he was also my position coach. So my head coach was actually our position coach.
Okay. That can go either really good or really bad.
Exactly. It can go really, really good or really, really bad. So I had never met this guy. I only talked to him through the phone. I kept going. So I show up in Dodge City. There my whole spring season.
Did spring go well?
Spring went well.
Okay.
You know, you learn the system, all this stuff. But there were still kids coming in and out. Like that's when I learned about Division 1 bounce backs. I'm like, what's a bounce back? Oh, somebody that went to Division 1 schools that they couldn't play or they got in trouble or they got bad grades. So they bounced back down to JUCOs. So now all of a sudden I'm hearing about this. So I have people that were playing from West Virginia, Syracuse, Cincinnati, all these schools that are coming back down. So obviously the level of talent for anybody watching, the level of talent in JUCO, it's there.
Yep.
It's there.
It's just people that got in trouble, like you said, or
people
bad
got
grades.
in trouble, bad grades, you know, something happened, but the talent's there.
Oh, yeah.
So I started learning about all this stuff. There was a quarterback that was a freshman like I was, and he beat me.
Okay.
He beat me. Straight up. He beat me. He was a better arm. He had a better arm, better high school resume than I did.
Okay.
So I was like, damn, it sucked. 100%. Because, like I said, I was always coming ready. I never started. He just came better.
Right.
So I sat behind him.
I have a question. Before that, so those months when you're trying to figure your life out, what route to take, all that. Were you training super hard, or did you kind of let your foot off the gas
I
pedal?
kind of let my foot off the gas a little bit on that time.
Okay.
Like those 2-3 months that I was here,
Trying to figure things out.
Yeah, I kind of took my foot off the pedal.
Okay.
Obviously, we're here. Like
you're in the comfort of your own city.
We want to hang out with our friends. Hey,
you're an adult.
Yeah. Why do you want to work out, bro? We can go hang out here. Okay, let's go. You know.
Yeah.
So yeah, but that's why when I learned it, I was like, all right, I accept it. I accept it. So then here comes this kid. The second guy comes in on another Division 1 bounce back, and I'm like, man,
things are getting hard.
Things are getting a little hard here.
And this is spring of your freshman year?
This is spring of my freshman year.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm like, damn, things are getting a little hard here. Like, it's going to be tough.
Yeah.
I ended up beating that kid.
Nice.
But again, I lost to the freshman that was already beating me.
All right.
So I'm like, I'm fine with that. I didn't play a lot. I was always on the sideline. I was always helping, but I was always ready. Like me and DeAndre, that was the guy's name that beat me. We were always together. We were always laughing. Yeah, we get into arguments because I would tell him, you suck, and then I suck, and like, oh, but you started. And I'm like, yeah, you're lucky. All that stuff. But at the end of the day, like when we were there, we were working. We had workouts in the morning, so we would work out together, and we would sneak into the defensive workouts because we didn't want to be with the offense.
Nice.
So we would sneak into with the defensive players because they're a little bit stronger than us.
Yeah.
So we were sneaking with them, work out, go eat breakfast, and then go through our classes, go through our meetings, go to practice, go to study hall. And then like after study hall, you're supposed to be lights out, but we would sneak out of our rooms and go to the gym and just start throwing. Like we'll get like a couple receivers. We try to make it like subtle. We didn't like
right.
So we're like, hey, listen, today it's you. We'll meet up here. We'll get inside the gym. We'll just start throwing. So we were always together.
Nice.
A sophomore year of there, that's when like I started playing a little bit more. Started learning the system, but I was used more as an athlete.
Same coaches, right?
Same coaches.
Awesome.
I was used more as an athlete. So running the ball, pop passes, lining up out wide, stuff like that. We kind of used the 2 quarterback system. It was great. It was fun. But I was like,
it's not what I want to do.
Yeah, it's not what I want to do. Like, I've been playing quarterback for a little bit and I want to play quarterback.
Right.
So that happens. DeAndre ends up getting hurt, end up playing. So now I was like, all right, I'm back.
And this is the
my sophomore season. Yeah,
will
be my sophomore
What game do you remember or no? I know it's a while ago.
Man.
Did you have like a lot of season left or it was like
it was
okay,
so you have plenty of time. 3-4 games, yeah. But it was fine. It was great. That was awesome. So, man, that was like hey, now you
come ready or never start.
Come ready or never start. So I was ready and I ended up starting, whatever. It was great. We also played in what's considered the SEC of Juco, which is the Kansas Jayhawks Southeastern Conference, which we played Hutchinson Community College, Coffeyville, Butler, which Butler has been known to be like that pipeline to Kansas State. Played a bunch of athletes. I actually played Tyreek Hill.
Nice.
At Garden City.
Okay.
And Garden City was like our rival. And they were like 80, like the Keys from here, like 90 miles down the road. They came in. That kid was a specimen.
That guy, Tyreek Hill,
specimen.
Just going nuts.
And we kicked it off to him. Bye. We get back on offense, 3 and out. Our safety was playing, I'm not even joking to you, about like maybe 14 yards off the ball. Straight fly. Gone. I'm like, dude, how do you beat this guy?
He's already 15 yards back off the line.
We didn't even know who this guy was. Like, all we knew him was as
just a random fast guy.
All we knew him as was the Oklahoma State commit.
Yeah.
So we just called him Oklahoma State.
Yeah.
We didn't know him as Tyreek. We just knew him as Oklahoma commit.
That was pre-Cheetah.
Oklahoma State commit. That's all we knew.
Yeah.
He burned us like 3 times. And I was like, guys, I don't think we should be doing this. Let's just put somebody else. So that's what I'm saying. Like that conference was legit. Yeah.
And for those of you that don't know, guys, Juco, it's not like a 4-year thing. It's a 2-year thing.
2 years.
So you got 2 seasons to make it work because you want to do what you can those 2 seasons, ball out, increase your resume. And then from there, you go to another school and you got 2 seasons left to finish your career at a school that you would want. And after that, you graduate and then you're done. All right. Sorry.
Yeah, no. So then that was that. So then my junior, like you said, after the 2 years, you're done. So then I was like, what do I do? Do I go back home and try? What do I do? The offers that I was getting was like little Division 2 schools, but they were all in Kansas, Division 2 schools here. So I was like, man, I don't know if I really want to do that.
Yeah.
So I was like, you know what? I spoke to my parents. I'm like, listen, I can go try to walk on. My grades are great. Like my grades are fine. I can try to walk on in summer here.
Right.
Like what's the point of me going back home? If I go back home, I'm not going to take it seriously because again, my friends are
a lot
down
of distractions.
here. Yeah, my friends are down here. Now we're getting to that age already where like you can start
turning
partying.
21.
Yeah, you're turning 21. So I was like, all my friends are a year older than me. So I'm like, they're 21. Then I'm going to try to be 21.
Yep.
I'm like, is that really a smart move? So my mom was like, nah.
That's good.
Try to stay over there. You know, try to stay over there. Like,
stay in your bubble.
Stay in your little bubble. You're fine. Now you have your fun. Yeah, whatever. I mean, there's only so much you can do in Dodge City, Kansas.
Exactly.
So I was like, whatever. Let's just stay there. So I ended up I went to Kansas State because
I never knew that.
they were one of the schools that were recruiting me out of high school.
Yeah.
And the culture was still there. So I was like, this is perfect.
What year did you go to Kansas State?
I graduated 2011, like 2014, 2015, around there.
Bro, that's funny. I was there like the year before.
2014, around there, like 2014. Yeah, because 2011, I graduated.
Then 2 years Juco.
2 years, yeah. So about 2014, 2015. So I didn't get awarded a scholarship. I went to school there. I enrolled. I got in. I did the whole system. I tried to walk on.
Yeah.
Made it to a practice squad. Hey, listen,
okay.
It is what it is.
A step in the right direction.
And if you haven't seen those little videos where people, the walk-ons get scholarships, we didn't know about that back in the days. You know, it was just like, oh, you're a walk-on, like whatever, you're a practice squad.
Yeah.
I didn't care. I was just playing ball and I was going to school at the same time.
Right.
Kind of got like a little rough because then you start hitting that little rock where it's like, man, I want to play. Like, I want to play.
Right, of course.
So I want to travel. Like, man, these kids are going everywhere. I want to travel. You don't travel as a practice squad member. You go to the games that are home. Right. You don't go to the away games. I'm like, I want to do that. I want to do that. There was a lot of quarterback talent. And if you don't know, in Division I football, there's about 6 quarterbacks on the roster.
Yeah. Yeah. If you don't know about position groups, guys, it gets very deep in college, right? So there's a lot of money to go around, especially at a D1 school, a lot of money. So they can dish out a lot of money. So if you're a DB, you're in a meeting room and you're like, this is almost my high school team. This is like,
it's like 7 of you guys are like, wait, what is going on here? And you would see it. Like, you see it nowadays. Like, you can go to a college football game. I went to a college football game not too long ago. I went to a UM game. There was like 5, 6 quarterbacks all throwing. I'm like, where did these people come from? Like, I only know 3 of you guys.
Right.
So then obviously and then practice, you have obviously the roster kids.
Yep.
And then you have practice squad members. So there's like 7, 8 quarterbacks going on at one time. And you're like, what is going on here? So kind of like for me, it was like, man, I want to get out there. But then I was never going to be able to get out there. Mm-hmm. Hey, it is what it is. Yeah. Listen, it is what it is. It's hard.
Yeah. And they always treat walk-ons like scrubs. Like, you're like, oh, you suck, you know?
Yeah.
Because I was a walk-on as well. So
I mean, it wasn't that bad. Like, they're still looking out for you. But when it came time to like do something, you were not considered because you're not on the roster.
Yep.
What are you doing for me?
And also, the tough thing about walk-ons, guys, that people don't explain to you or to me when I was a walk-on was the reason why it's such a big mountain to climb is because it is a business at the end of the day. They financially chose these 3 guys, right? They're like, when the season goes in, if 1 gets hurt, 2's up. If 2 gets hurt, 3 goes up, right? Guys that they put financial backing, which is the full scholarship.
Yeah.
So a walk-on is like a trial. You know, it's like you have the possibility of making it, but they're always going to even if Baca was better than 2 and 3 or 1, whatever, they're going to try 1, 2, and 3 first because they're financially binded with these guys, whether they came straight from high school for 4 years or whether they came from a Juco, because Kansas State was very into Juco players.
Yeah.
So even if they financially were backing you for 2 years, they're going to try those guys first before they try a walk-on. So that's why it's so hard. Right?
Yeah. So that's basically what you say. Like, you know, you're just there, like, you're just a little trial player.
Yep.
You know? So then after that, I was kind of like, I came back home for the break. Spoke to my mom. I'm like, listen, I've been doing this since I was 8 years old. Okay. I'm 21. I just turned 21. I'm 22. Like, I've been doing this for a while.
Yeah. Long time.
I'm like,
you start getting that burned out feeling.
Yeah. And I don't like to use burned out because when I tell my kids, like the young athletes, I don't like to use burned out. I just say, like, listen, I got to a point where I was like, do I want to do this or do I just want to just, you know? So I kind of spoke to my mom. I was like, do you want to do this? She's like, you do understand that if you come back, you're going to have to, number 1, get a job and you're going to have to finish school.
Real life starts.
Yeah, real life stuff. You're basically, you're an adult now.
Yeah.
She's like, I'm going to help you as much as I can, but you're going to have to put your end.
You're not going to bum out.
Yeah. You're not going to just be here, whatever.
You're not on vacation, buddy.
Yeah, you're not no more. Like, you can go to school and you're on vacation when you're at school, no parents or nothing. Like, oh, yeah, awesome.
That's a good mama.
But she was like, whatever. So I'm like, you know what, mom? Like, I'm ready. She's like, all right, come back. So I came back.
So now this is going to your senior year.
This
now.
is my senior year,
Mhm.
21, 22. Finished school.
Yeah.
Went to FIU.
Yeah.
Finished school. And
Did you ever have
Nah.
thoughts of walking on there? You're like, nah, I'm just going to be a student for my senior year.
that
I'm
was
done.
it. Like I wanted to just.
Yeah.
I didn't listen. Those that don't know, you know, Division 1 football, it's a job, and it was like it's like what JUCO, my JUCO schedule was, times 5.
Yep, more
Like
meetings.
we had like a list every day of week, a list of what we were doing at every single time, and every single time, was taken.
Every minute was accounted for.
Every minute was literally accounted for to the point where you couldn't even go to the bathroom because you had to follow the script. And I was actually talking about this with one of my young athletes the other day, and I'm like, it's a job. Like, and then the top
you better
of that,
love it.
And on top of that, so you're doing this Monday, all of this till Monday. You won't go back into your dorm till about 9 o'clock.
Oh, and by the way, you got to study.
Yeah, by the
way,
way,
you got to still
gotta
like
school,
shower and
yeah,
eat.
you got to school. You got to find some time. The thing is with Division 1 football, what's good about them is that they have a time of lunch and they make sure that you eat.
Yeah.
Like I remember speaking to Sean before he left to Virginia. I'm like, you know what's gonna suck, right? He's like, what? I go, when you have to go to lunch and they have a plate and everything's accounted for, your calorie intake, your all this stuff. You're not leaving till you finish that food, and you will have your position coach sitting right next to you. I'm like, you need to finish this. And you're like, well, I'm nervous stuff. So that was one thing there. But
the freshman 15 is real. The freshman 15. So if you don't know what that phrase means, it's you get into your grown man weight when you're like 18 years old. Usually there's some freaks out there that are already big in high school, but your freshman 15 is those first 15 pounds you gain your freshman year.
Yeah, that freshman 15 is real. So
I've seen it all across.
Yeah, so basically, like, you know, it's a job. And then on top of that, like you said, you have to study all this stuff. So you won't be going to sleep till around 10 o'clock. Oh, by the way, tomorrow's Tuesday and you got to go right back into all over again. You got to do it all over again. So it's 5 days a week.
Yeah, man.
And that's that I didn't play on Saturdays.
Because that was the reward.
That was your reward Saturday. Mind you, you didn't get beat up, but your body's already like Monday through Friday. And then Saturdays, I have to go perform in front of all these fans and win the game. It's kind of hard. So that's kind of what I was like, man, I'm kind of done with that. Like, I just want to be a student. Like, I just want to be a student. Let me be a student.
Have free time for once.
Yeah, like hanging with my friends. So I started hanging with my friends. And that's obviously I got him back into flag football.
Nice.
At 21, 22. I had literally just gotten back into it. I had played before, like on when I would come down for breaks, play tournaments, play this. But that's when I really got back into it. And I just took off. Nice. That's where we're at now. Flag football.
Flag football, bro. It's a good hobby, bro, for someone that's really competitive and something to scratch the itch.
Yeah. Definitely.
All right. So we're going to backtrack a little bit. So education wise, do you feel like Doral?
What?
Do you feel like do you feel like Doral Academy prepared you for college in terms of education?
Yes, in a way, yes, because they are a charter school, so we were always learning a year above. So
that's cool. So explain that. What do you mean? So is that what charters do?
Yeah, like there's some charter schools that they teach a grade above. So you can, like, I was a freshman, but I was taking a 10th grade math course.
So is that why y'all had just straight PE your senior year?
That's why my senior year, I literally had English, because you have to have your 4 years of English. You can't just skip.
You're right.
Yeah, and then civics and economy. So I was literally done there. After that was office aid, PE, office aid.
Amazing.
So I was literally like just chilling the entire time.
Nice.
That's where I met.
And helped you focus on football more too.
That's where I met some of my friends. That's why all my friends are older, because I was a freshman in the 10th grade class. You know?
Okay.
So I literally was there, and that's where I met my kids. High school did prepare you in a way, but there's nothing like when you're out there, because in high school you have someone like, hey, you have to do this, you have to do
like
that.
Your advisor.
You have to do that. Yeah. You meet with your teacher.
Some coaches.
In college,
you're on your own.
Yeah. And if you don't get this turned in, there's not going to be anybody.
No one's holding your hand.
No one's holding your hand. No one's going to be like, hey, you forgot this, but I'm going to, you're on your own. You're a grown man.
Yep.
You know?
And something we didn't cover as well that I mentioned in other episodes. So I already know the answer, but what was the difference in the classroom size at the Juco versus Kansas State? This room versus an auditorium.
No, it's literally, you went from maybe a Juco class of being like 10, 12 kids, majority of them being all athletes.
Yep.
So now you're going to the other side of the campus
Yep.
and there's like 40, 50, 60 people for one professor. I'm like, yo,
Yep.
this is crazy.
The guy or girl doesn't know who you are.
So
you're a number.
that's what I'm trying to tell you. Like there was nobody. That professor has 60 students he has to worry about in one class. Mind you, he might have 4 classes of the same thing.
Yep.
So you got to do the numbers.
Hundreds of
He's
kids.
not going to be holding your hand and saying, hey, Lulu, you forgot to do your work. You need to come and do your work right now because of that. No. Is you didn't turn in your work, you're getting an F.
Zero.
Like
F,
zero
yeah.
set straight up.
Yep.
So that's a lot. They prepared in that sense. But there's nothing like when you get to college where you have that little culture shock again where you're literally like, oh man, I'm on my own.
Yep.
Mind you, you're not on your own. You have your coaches, but your coaches are not going to go to class for you. You're not going to vouch for you. You got to do this. They're paying you
to handle your responsibilities.
To go to school and play football.
Yep.
So what are you doing? Which is what I try to tell all the young athletes, my young athletes now. And I have a bunch of them that play little schools. And some of them are going now since I started coaching with Johan. Like obviously, we got a little bit more. And, I started seeing it the other day when there was early signing. It was like 6 kids that I've coached with Johan that are going Division 1.
Amazing, bro.
It's great. Not to mention, Johan's been doing this for a while. So Johan has like over 20-something kids in Division 1 schools, little schools.
It's a great accomplishment.
Like 6 kids. Yeah. But those 6 kids, I'm like, man. So I try to like tell them all this stuff. Like, hey, listen, there's no more mommy, daddy. Now you're on your own. And it's going to be a little culture shock. You're going to get scared. You're going to get homesick. But you need to understand why you're there. What's your why and why are you there? When you figure that out, you're going to figure it out.
And you have to constantly remind yourself what that is because like you said, when when it feels like a job, because it doesn't feel like it is a job. It is a job. You're getting paid for a service. Yeah. You're doing the service. Whether you want to or not, you got to be there. If you don't do a certain number, just like your high school coach, if you're not there for workouts a certain number of times, just workouts, not even practice.
And there is somebody there that's checking you off as you walk in.
Oh, yeah.
Like there is somebody there and they will come and get you. At those Division 1 schools, they will
out of your room. If you're sleeping in your room, somebody will come, a graduate assistant. Let's go. You
gotta go. And they don't care. If
and it's not
sleeping.
Practice. You're gonna get punished.
You're not going to workouts. You're gonna go on the field and start running and all this stuff.
Yep.
So that's why I try to all the young athletes nowadays. I'm like, listen, you got this for a reason. They invested in you.
Yep.
You got to put your part down.
Yep.
Which is what I try to install on all my kids, all my young athletes. Yep. Hey, if I'm investing in you, show me.
It has to return something.
Show me. Yeah. Show me. When I coach,
you have to learn it's a business.
Well, yeah, it's a business.
Yep.
And it's nothing personal.
Nope.
It's no vendettas. There's no grudges. There's no nothing. It's a business.
It's about winning and losing.
Yeah.
That's it.
Because at the end of the day, guess what? In these schools, coaches are looked at by wins and losses, not by,
how nice you are.
How nice you are.
How much you're liked.
Oh, yeah. It's how many wins can you get us? Can you get us a bowl game? And how many losses are you not going to get us? So then, hey, we're going to, if not, you're out. And next one up. You've seen it. I mean, there's a lot of coaching carousels going on right now.
Yep.
You're not winning. You're out.
Yep.
I'm going to find somebody else that can probably do the same or better and win games. That's all it is.
Yep.
So, I mean, it's just.
And another thing that kids don't understand until they get to the school, they're on you. When they're recruiting you, their tone is different. They butter you up. They love you. My little papito. You're the best football player ever.
They'll bring you like little gifts to your house and your sign.
Sure.
Hey, what number did you wear in high school? 31? Okay, I got you 31.
Don't worry about it.
You get to your locker and you have 45. Like, whoa.
Yeah, man.
What's going on here?
As soon as you sign to that school, all that's over.
Yeah.
You're just another grunt. Like you're just like bottom of the food chain. All right, now time to prove yourself. And like you said, here, 47. Here, take it.
I'll never forget. Like,
you gotta earn 31.
I went to when I went to the Juco, the coach asked me, he's like, hey, what number do you wear? I'm like, well, honestly, I've always worn 1. He's like, don't worry about it. We got you. 1 is gonna be ready.
Don't worry about it.
Man,
Crisp, New Jersey.
I got there to my locker.
Where's my Uno?
Says your locker name, and I'm like,
19.
Number 12.
Yo, what?
What's 12? I'm like, what is 12 here, man? Are we wrong here?
There's an extra number here. There's let's take out this 2.
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. 1, 12 over here. So I literally was like, went to the coach. I'm like, hey, I wanted number 1. He's like, oh, sorry. I was like, who has number 1? So I started going in and looking for number 1, and it was like a sophomore. And I'm like, oh, that's why. So basically what he did was like seniority.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, damn it. So I think I
earned that number.
I have pictures. My mom has pictures of like that stuff because I was like, we had like a little photographer that would come in and take pictures. And I sent my mom the first picture, number 12. She's like, what happened to 1? I'm like,
1 through 11 was taken.
I don't understand. Mom, don't worry about it. She's like, I haven't won. I'm like, that's the same thing that I asked. She's like, did you ask the coach? I'm like, yeah. And he looked at me and said, it's not there. So I was like, damn. So I had number 12 on, and I'm like, oh my God. I've never worn double digits in my life. Yeah. I've always worn single, 4, 7.
That's where the swag's at.
1. Yeah. Everybody knew that.
Saucy.
You were number 1. Oh, man. Oh. Yeah. So, man, number 12. And I'm like, man. No, not to mention, all these kids are getting like the nice helmets, like the Rydell's, the little speed. Don't tell me. Man, I got the Peyton Manning one. I'm like,
show me some love.
I couldn't even put a visor on. I'm like, how do you do this? So, man, it was literally like a culture shock. And then, like you said, the coaches butter you up, man. I mean, no, listen, they got to do what they got to do. It's a business at the end of the day. So they want to
and that's what kids don't understand, though.
Yeah, because then you're promised all this stuff. And then when you get there, it's like, oh, this coach don't like me. This coach don't like me. What do you mean the coach doesn't like you? There's 7 receivers right there that are ready to go that have been here for a while. You just got here.
Yeah.
Make your mark. Yeah. Make your mark. Stand out. And then maybe you'll see that the coach, well, hey, this is so-and-so. Because, again, like we said, you go to your position meetings, and I'm talking quarterbacks. There was 6, 7 of us. Receivers,
yeah, forget about it.
You
can have 5 on the field at the same time. So imagine how many people are sitting in a whole room
on a sideline, and then plus the practice squad members. So you're talking about maybe 12, 13 receivers.
Yeah. Same thing with DBs. We have a bunch.
That's what I'm saying. There's always a bunch.
12 to 16 guys.
I don't know what the roster count for colleges to have on the field.
I want to say 50 something or 60 something. And I know home games is like 100 kids. Yeah, home games is like
everybody's there.
It's
everybody's there. So honestly, hold on. Actually, backtrack to this. In Juco, in our conference, when I had gotten there, you were allowed 55 kids. Okay,
for travel or like the whole team.
No, for a roster. For like your game roster.
Gotcha.
Out of those 55, 15 or 20 could be out of state.
Oh, so there was a cap. I didn't know that. There was a cap on
15 or 20. I don't remember. I remember the number, but it was 15 to 20.
I know it's like that in the CFL. In the
15
CFL,
to 20 had to be out of state. After that, everybody was in state.
That changes things with recruiting.
So think about it.
It's a big deal.
Think about it. You're literally recruiting, and for the most part, I want to say this, but out of the 15, 20, vast majority, are from Florida.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. We had like maybe one from like Texas, which actually DeAndre.
Florida, Texas, or Cali, probably.
DeAndre was actually from Texas.
Okay.
So he was one of the Texas kids. We had another D lineman from Texas, but majority of them were from Florida.
Yeah, that's where the
speed's at. It was like, and everybody's fighting.
Yeah.
Because there's 40 something people that come from out of state, and only 15 to 20 make the roster.
Yep.
So it was kind of like, oh man, that's now you really got to come ready. So you always have to be on your P's and Q's, because if not, you're out.
And something we haven't covered yet, guys, it's a weird dynamic, right? So Baca is like friends with DeAndre. They're both battling for the same position, but they're still like friends, you know?
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you're trying to get a position. He's trying to get a position. So it's okay to maintain that respect level and work hard together. But at the end of the day, my coach used to always say, like, don't count your reps, make your reps count, right? So sometimes, let's say like you only get 4 plays out of a drive, because let's say it's Baca and three other quarterbacks. Each of them get 4 plays. Throw a touchdown, throw 4. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? That's don't dwell on the fact that you don't have that many reps when you're competing with somebody. Make the reps count. Like if you're a defensive player, I used to lay people out
all the time, and
they were telling me,
to fight. This is practice. This is practice.
Yeah.
This is practice.
Look, I was a safety and a corner. If I got the chance to lay somebody out, I would. And guess what? I would go up a spot. I will get in trouble and I'll have to run, or I'll get in trouble being like, yo, 31 does not give up. He hits. He's coming. He hits. He's not the biggest guy, but he hits.
He's coming.
And then guess what? In the depth chart, somehow magically, boop, I'll go up 1, and then I'll get 8 reps instead of 4 reps. You know, and then before you know it, I go to a scrimmage and I was getting rotated in with 3 or 4 other guys. And all of a sudden I got like a third of the reps. And then I'll get a half of the reps. Then I'll get the majority of the reps. Then I'll start. And then now they break down film with you individually, or like in the room, instead of like you being ignored, the coach would be like, what do you think about this? That's when you know a coach like really cares about your intake. They're like, Lou, what do you think about this? Yeah. Or hey, you see what we did here? When a coach singles you out and he's like putting the clicker on you, he cares.
But he's not singling. Yeah, that's another thing. When he singles you out, it's not that he's picking on you, because a lot of these young athletes nowadays like,
coach sensitive.
Coach is picking on me. Coach is picking on me. He's not picking on you.
No,
because he's helping you.
He wants you to be great.
Which is, again, this is what I try to instill that in my young athletes now. And I coach volleyball. I coach soccer, basketball, flag football. I coach all of them.
Yeah.
At the school. And I try to tell them, if I am yelling at you and I am telling you what to do and how to do it and what you're doing wrong, I'm not picking on you.
Mm-mm.
I'm not. If I didn't care for you, that's me picking
You would ignore them.
Yeah, I would ignore you. You mess this up.
You don't exist.
Whatever. I don't care.
Right.
Whatever. If I'm coming at you, it's because I care.
You're setting a bar.
I'm setting you up for success.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a lot of these young athletes that come back. Like, I had another one the other day. I'm telling you, just have kids coming back and forth. Blah, blah, blah.
Right.
Coach, you know, something that you told me was you used to like single me out. And I always thought that you were being an A.
Right.
And I'm like, no. He's like, but in reality, you're helping me out.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, you see, you thought I was being that to you.
Right.
But now you're going to college.
You're getting chewed out. And you're like, look, Coach Baca.
You're getting chewed out in front of me.
A whole meeting room.
It was me and you,
Mhm.
like me and you in the sideline. Now you're getting chewed out in front of
A whole meeting room.
13, 14 players.
Yep.
That they're probably laughing.
Yeah.
Because let's be real. You get chewed out.
Yeah.
There's always that one guy in the back that's like,
Stupid.
loser.
It's true.
And so I'm like, dude, I was only trying to build you.
Mhm.
It is what it is.
Yep.
Yeah. But
You got to take your emotions out of it, guys. If you're getting chewed out, like Baca said, the coach just cares about your performance because your success equals the coach's success,
Yeah.
which equals the program's success, which helps everybody. It's really what it boils down to.
So I got a question. I I was telling you at the beginning, that never been involved with college sports or any semi amateur or any
or organized sports.
except for some jiu-jitsu, MMA, whatever. So so many football players, like such a huge football culture in Florida, right?
Yeah.
Like amazing players. What is up with these Dolphins? I don't know. I mean,
That's a whole other, yeah.
We're working that out.
Yeah, we're all, it's buffering. It's loading.
I like the first couple of weeks, I was arguing with people back and forth. Like, I know what you're talking about. We're undefeated. I know what you're talking about. 2-7-0. The last couple of weeks, my phone has been blowing up. It's like, hey, what's going on? I'm like, who is this?
Yeah.
Wrong
Why
number.
are you texting me?
Wrong number. Wrong number. I don't know who this is.
I have a few friends that are Packers fans. I was like, oh my God.
Oh, Pablito. Pablito keeps texting me every single time. He's like, Justin Herbert. I'm like, dude, who are you?
I'm blocking you.
I'm blocking you. Like, stop talking to me, man. Like,
On Sundays, my phone's on Do Not Disturb.
it's. But let me tell you, no, we'll get it.
We'll figure it out. We'll get it.
We got 2 games. We're making them.
We'll get it.
We'll get in there.
All right. So let's talk about, so you're a teacher.
Yeah.
Right. So, and you also coach.
Yeah.
Right. So let's go into, let's go into that a little bit. So how long you been teaching?
Teaching, I've been in the school for, this is my 8th year.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So
Nice.
2 years or 2 or 3 years, I was an assistant under Eric Cuddy.
Mm-hmm. Cuddy.
Yeah, Cuddy. He got me in and I was there helping him. And then he left. So then I had my bachelor's.
Yeah.
So I just, boom.
Transition.
Switch. It was a test. So then this is my 5th year, like full-time teaching, like actual, like my thing.
Mhm.
I love it. Like
You have a great temperament for it. And I think you're awesome at it.
You know what's funny? A lot of people tell me like, man, you don't really have an approachable look. Like, how do you deal with kids? I'm like, and then my Mo would be like, have you seen this guy with kids? Like, have you seen him with kids? Like, it's different. Like what Baca is on the flag football field is different from what Baca is with his kids.
Of course.
Because in flag football, I'm better than you. I'm gonna hit you. I'm gonna let you know I'm there.
Of course.
And I'm gonna talk my stuff.
Of course.
But when I'm with my kids, when we play, it's just I turn into like this big. Everybody tells me like, you're a softie. I'm like, I'm not a softie. It's just those are the kids, bro. I love the kids.
That's what a lot of bad coaches don't understand. You need to have a different temperament. You need to have a different level of patience. And you can't treat every personality the same way. One kid will shut down on you. One kid will do better. And you have to adjust accordingly. And I'm sure you learned that like really fast,
So
getting the best out of it.
It's fun. I'm also a medic. So like when I came out of high school, I was doing like those 2 months or 3 months, I was like doing my medics.
Huh?
Yeah. I was doing like when I came back, I was doing like medic stuff. So I actually had an opportunity and I went to go work at Baptist.
Okay.
And I was there for like 4 or 5 months. And I'm like, this is not what I want. Like I was still coaching on the side. Like I would coach flag football with some of the kids from my school. I'm like, man, this is not what I want. So, and I'm going home and I was like, listen, it's not what I want. And the person was like, "You sure?" I'm like, "That's not what I want."
Damn positive.
I'm sorry. And she was very receptive. She's like, "Listen, I understand that you're great with kids. What do you want to do?" I want to go back. She's like, "Are you serious?" I'm like, "I want to go back." She's like, "Think about it."
It's been thought.
So it was like, I texted the principal at the time. And I'm like, "Hey, listen, I know that it's kind of hectic right now. When you get a chance, I would like to talk to you because I think I made a mistake. Not a mistake. Let me not say a mistake. I took this chance.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't like it.
You saw it through and then you're like,
and I want to come back home." So she texted me like maybe a couple hours later. She's like, "Come to my office." I went to her office. And I was telling her, I'm like, "Listen, I've been here for so long. I love what I do. All the kids are fun. I love coaching. I tried it. I tried something else. It's not for me. I'm meant to be here." She's like, "All right, when do you want to come back?" This was on a Monday. I'm like, I can come back tomorrow, but I gotta go break the news. So.
To the other people?
Yeah, no, not to the other people, because I was already like,
oh, okay, you already told them.
I just have to break it to the household, and I'm like, "Oh, I gotta go break it to my house. So I will Wednesday." She's like, "Wednesday's fine.
I gotta drop a bomb Tuesday.
Wednesday's fine." She's like, "Wednesday's fine." So I remember she got on the PA, and she's like, "Teachers and students, sorry for the interruption. Quick announcement. Coach Andy's back." And literally it was like you literally felt there. And I was like, "Oh, I'm back. Let's go." Felt like I was coming out of the tunnel, like,
the Ray Lewis.
Yeah, the Ray Lewis, like coming out of smoke, fireworks.
Confetti.
Yeah, fireworks and everything. I was like, "Yeah, I'm back." So then I came back and I look back at it now, and I tell people all the time, like, "Dude, there's nothing like what I do." And they're like, "Oh, bro, but like you're just settling." I'm like, I don't care.
That irks my soul.
It doesn't bother.
When people say that about a career, bro.
It bothers me because it's like, I don't care. I know what I'm doing. Thank you for that. I'm sure that you're okay. Like, you want to live this lifestyle, but hey, listen, that's you, bro.
So the reason why people, I'm so glad you brought that up. The reason why people feel the need to tell teachers, advisors, certain career paths, that is because Miami's all about money, right? Mm-hmm. Certain big cities, it's all about money. It's all that matters. But a lot of people sell out, and there's nothing wrong with chasing money, but don't belittle people that went after, I know it sounds corny, but with their heart and what makes them feel good and what's the most rewarding, Yeah. And I've said in other episodes, teachers and cops are severely underpaid.
Firefighters too.
First
responders in general.
Severely underpaid. Severely. So if you choose to be a teacher, it's genuinely, or a coach or a high school coach, it's because you love the sport or you love what you do.
You love what you do.
And then people have the audacity to be like, "Oh, you're settling." No, I'm just not selling out.
No,
for a bottom dollar.
I'm not. I'm really not.
You took that route, There's nothing wrong with that.
I talk to a lot of people, and Mo's like, me and Mo have this relationship, like me and him, and we just talk, and we're like, yeah. And I told him, like, "Dude, I love our man." He's like, "Bro, who cares then? Who cares? Mm-hmm. If you love what you do, why do you need to succumb to like try to keep up with the Joneses?" Because that's what it is. In Miami, it's all about keeping up with the Joneses.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, what can you do? Oh, can you go out? Can you go out to a club and buy a table?
Buy bottles.
Yeah, buy bottles, all that stuff. Like, I don't need to.
Yep.
I can go to Duffy's. At my house, and have a great time with myself. I know what you're talking about. Like, I don't really necessarily need that. And it's like,
social pressure is a real thing, though.
That is a real thing, and a lot of people, like you say, they sell out. Mm-hmm. They sell out who they are,
and then they wonder why they're unhappy.
Yeah, and then they wonder, like,
10, 20 years goes by.
Why can't I do this? Why can't I do that? Because you sold out.
Yeah,
you didn't stick to who you were.
Yeah,
Miami's got a big fake in it culture.
Yeah.
Like, make it till you make it.
Fake. Well, sometimes most of it is just fake it. There's no making it. There's no making it.
We're faking it every time.
It's just so crazy, man. Yeah, but that's always been like that. The culture in Miami is just,
it's never changed. No,
faking. Faking the people, the chasing people for pictures. And then the cloud chasing.
The cloud chasers, the things you wear, everything. The car you drive.
People do not understand. Yep. In other states, I've been out of state too. People do not understand the level and how superficial Miami is because I understand that California and LA is superficial too, whatever, but it's big.
Yeah.
So Miami's like this.
Miami's this little.
And it's so like, and I tell people like Miami's bigger. And I tell people like, I've been at other states, right? And where guys be like, there have been girls walking around. And guys, like, you know what I mean? Because
You're 5 back home.
Yeah.
I tell people don't believe me,
here.
bro. People don't.
We got a lot of those in Kansas.
Bro, people, and I don't mean it disrespectfully.
Calm down, lady.
Listen, I don't mean it disrespectfully to anybody. And it, guys and girls both goes the same way, you know?
Yeah. No.
But I tell people like, I'll be at places like, yo, look at. I was okay. It's like, well, like, bro, Miami, you find her like in the working in the
Publix.
in the center aisle of the mall. Like her, she could be in the center aisle of the mall trying to sell you a little
watch or something.
It's like, nah, it's like, I'm telling you, man. It's like
the truth.
Because that's like, like the guys were surprised I was saying, they'd be like, everybody's going crazy, and I'd be like, all right, like I'm not okay. Yeah. Like, bro,
it ain't nothing.
Also,
out the house.
To carry on to that, I've seen a lot of the podcasts and the people are like talking about like, oh, like I didn't go to school because I was dating a girl.
Oh my God, that pisses me
or off. Vice versa. Right? Even female athletes. Mm-hmm. Oh, I have a boyfriend back home. I have a girlfriend back home. They do all that stuff, and I don't want to go to school because I don't want my relationship. Listen, I'm gonna tell you right now. There is going to be girls and guys. When you come back from school, if this doesn't work out, there's a lot more. But you're going to stop yourself from getting a free education because of a boyfriend that you may not even be with or a girlfriend that you may not even be with in 2 weeks. Nice. And guess what? You're back now. You didn't go to the 4-year school.
Now you're going to resent them.
Now you're going to resent. Yeah, you're going to basically resent them. And why? Because
you gave up your future.
You gave up your future. You know how many times I've heard that? I'm like,
what kind of logic is that?
I literally look at some of the young athletes and I'm like, you're kidding me. Like,
para meterle un bofetazo.
Yeah, like if you were my kid right now, like I'd like, sorry.
Wake up.
A lot of these, like you said, there's a lot of these people. There's a lot of people in the world.
Yeah, it's a cop out.
It's a
cop out.
Yeah, that's what it is.
It's what it is.
Tell me what you really feel.
Yeah, man. Because, like we've talked about throughout this whole episode, being homesick, the culture shock, having structure, not having any free time, your sport that you love feeling like a job, not having your ego stroked every practice because your coach doesn't love you anymore. Like that's a huge adjustment, bro. 100%. It's a huge adjustment. 100%. So going back to being a teacher, what are some struggles that someone like myself that's not a teacher, what are some things you think is a struggle in that profession besides being underpaid, in my opinion?
Honestly, having the patience. You gotta have patience. Like these are not your kids. You gotta have it. And you gotta have it hard because these kids nowadays, they test you.
Boy.
They test you. They test you.
I've gotten tested,
They
boy.
test you and I'm like, little boy.
You're
girl.
What?
About to meet me outside at 3 o'clock. Meet me outside at 3 o'clock. But man, coming with that is a lot of patience, man. Like it's a lot of patience. And again, people tell me it's like, bro, how do you work with kids? What does that mean? Oh, I don't know. You just have a lot of patience.
Yeah.
That's
exactly what that means.
The struggle is, you're kind of like helping these kids. You're basically with these kids more than their parents. You kind of 100%. You kind of are like their mentor. Their mentor. So you kind of want to, like you said, there's always one way that you can talk to a kid won't be the same way you talk to another kid.
Nope.
Because what I said to this kid, this athlete, I won't say to another one because it might not react the same. Yeah. So you're trying to find that balance and
what makes them tick.
Yeah, what makes
how to motivate.
How can I motivate you in this way to do this, but how can I motivate you to do that as well? Yeah. Like how do I? So it's a lot of like a lot of that.
How did sports help you with that? With dealing, because a quarterback has to be a leader.
Yeah.
So how does
like I said earlier, like I took a lot of what I was coached as, like the structure, the accountability, all that stuff, and I kind of like just put it in like plugged it in little places. Mm-hmm. Like you're building a puzzle.
Yeah.
I started like, okay, I was always told this to be this way. Bam. Okay, bam, bam, bam. So I just started like filling little blanks and it helped me a lot. Like I talked to some of my coaches sometimes. I talked to the Juco coach because he used to have a saying, it's called 2 kinds. Okay, there's 2 kinds of people in this world. There's the people that are gonna go get it, and there's the people that are gonna be sitting down waiting for it to come get it.
Yeah.
So I always use that, and I always tell all these athletes, I'm like, well, who are you? What do you want? Why do you want it?
Simple.
Boom, 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 boom. You tell me why, and I go, because guess what? Why are you asking me that, coach? Because there's 2 kinds of people. Are you gonna be that kind that's gonna go get what you want and how and when, or are you gonna be that person that's gonna sit back and wait for when is it coming? How's it coming?
Waiting for the shoe.
When are you waiting for that? You know, so I've always used that. Like I've always used anything I was taught when I was little. Now, it works. It works. And honestly, I have to honestly thank a lot to Johan, because Johan kind of like showed me more. Like I knew some stuff, but then working with Johan, I would learn a lot more and a lot more. So you're always learning. You're always learning. And I like to take people.
Anybody in any profession.
I like to take people like, if you're a coach, hey, how do you do this? But how do you do that? Oh, okay, cool. Let me see if I can try my own way, but like trying your stuff.
Yeah.
It's always fun. You know, it's always fun. But so being a teacher, having to deal with the young athletes and all that stuff, it's great. You're basically there. You're just guiding them. Like, you're like a little bird. Like, you have them for X amount of years. And then when they go to high school, it's like, fly, bird.
Yeah.
Fly. Go do what we taught you.
Go flourish, yeah.
And then go somewhere else and have someone else teach you more.
And let me tell you, bro, you're the first teacher I've had on here. I want to say on behalf of people like myself, like, I appreciate a good teacher so much, man, because I personally had people in my life that coach or teacher that would tell me, like, you're not going to amount to anything. You know what it is to tell a teenager that? You're not going to amount to anything. Instead of helping them flourish, like, you're telling me, like, I'm not going to amount to ish.
Yeah. No.
Like, a little backstory, guys. A coach of mine, I almost fist fought a coach of mine. I used to live by my high school. I almost fist fought. I'm not going to say his name, but he got fired. I mean, not fired. Sorry, suspended for the rest of that school year because we almost fought outside of, like, I had the worst guidance. You know what I'm saying? So definitely give props to, like, great teachers like Baca, because that really care. And because it's very easy to be like, F this kid, I'm just going to get paid and that's it. There's a lot of people that do that, man, just for the check. You know?
They're just there clocking in, clocking out.
Good teachers are very undervalued, bro. So I just want to say on behalf of, like, parents, I'm not a parent yet, but, like, people that care about kids for real. Yeah. Like, thank you for being a good teacher, bro, because a lot of people would have taken that other career to get more money.
Yeah. And again, when I left, I was making more money.
Of course you were.
I was making more money than what I was making right now. So that's kind of like, I was like, man,
you chose what made you happy.
Yeah. And to this day, I'll say it 1,000 times. And everybody that knows me very well. I'll say it to them 1,000. I don't regret it at all. I don't regret leaving the hospital. I don't regret it. You know, I was making more money, more connections. I don't. To me, I'm at where I'm at for a reason. Yep. And I was placed there. I'm happy. That's all that matters, because I don't want to be that person later down the line and be like, oh man, I hate this job. Like,
why didn't I make that decision at the fork in the road?
Then you become that person that you're just clocking in and out. You have no care in the world. You're just clocking in and out, in and out, in and out.
For such an important position.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. That's
for a teacher. That's such an important position.
You know, I wanna share a little story that I had with a teacher. Bro, I forgot his name. I don't even, because I was going to, I had a wild teenage
upbringing and stuff.
Yeah. And then I was going, when I was 16, I dropped out of school. But then I was trying to finish it and trying to, like, you know, I was kind of like in between. So I was 17 and going to Miami night school. Miami High. No. Miami High night school. I was trying to get that together. So that's pretty long. So yeah, man. So I was going to a night school, Miami High, and then there was this English teacher, like English lit or whatever. And I mean, I don't remember his name, bro, for the life of me, because I was only there for a couple months. That guy was so cool, you know.
Oh, it's a good one.
So I was a class clown, you know what I mean. I was always trying to mess with the girls in the class, whatever, you know. And so he recognized that, but he didn't push against it, you know what I mean. And night school is a little different, you know. And everybody knows all the screw ups are, you know what I mean.
Pretty much,
yeah, are in there. So but I remember. He realized, because I was always good, like, at reading. Like, he gave us book assignments, and I grew up reading books, so I would read the books fast or whatever. So he realized that I was smart. I was just
you want to be
misguided.
Well, misguided, or just you know what I mean? Just
an adolescent just figuring
figuring it out, you know. And but I still remember there was this, like, real hot girl that came into the class. You know what I mean, bro? This guy looks at me, right, and he calls me over, and he's like, "You come here." It's like, you call the row or whatever, the
Like attendance?
Attendance, thank you. You call the attendance. You can see how good I did in school. I remember the basic stuff, bro. So you call attendance today. And he sat where I was sitting, you know what I mean? So I'm sitting there and the chick's looking around and she's looking at like, I know you're not the teacher. Right. I'm trying to find out the name, you know? So I'm calling that, everybody's like, and so yeah, like when I'm trying to call her name and like she's new it, and she's like, and everybody's laughing. Bro, but I remember that it was a small exchange and then he went back up and now I'm back to my seat. It was a very small exchange, you know what I mean? And then he assigned her to me as we had to
do an alley-oop.
Yeah, we had to do a team. Bro, we had to do a team, we had to do a team class. He assigned it to me. Bro, the prettiest girl in the school. You know, I was 17. She was like a year older. She's like 18. But I remember that. Such a small thing. You know what I mean? But he won me over.
Yeah.
You know, and he wasn't doing, but he wasn't doing nothing unprofessional, nothing. You know what I mean? Yeah. It was, but like, if he would have pushed against me, I would have pushed against even harder. But I was always, and at his class, man, I loved his class, and I was always paying attention. And it's like he used that.
Because of that, you were more engaged, though.
Yes,
you guys liking each other.
And then what happened with the girl when I was I'm not going to take long here, but so he assigns the girl to me to be like we were gonna do a team project or whatever. And she saw me as like I was a class clown. I was with fitted out, whatever, braided out. So the chick's like, oh, this guy here, he's a player trying to, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So the girl was real mean or whatever to me. So like the way I used to when I was a kid in school, you know, I'm gonna tell you, I'm a married man, I'm a Christian man, but as a kid, I had mad game, you know? So what happened was I would always talk to the, you know, I don't mean to be offensive to anybody, but I would always talk to the lesser attractive girls in the class.
Show them attention.
Always, 100%. Mess around with them, talk to them. And usually girls that are considered lesser attractive, attraction is in the eye, beauty is in the eye of the beholder, but they're usually cool because they're used to being just
themselves.
And normal, because usually the girls that are very attractive are usually used to so much attention. They don't know how to act in public, whatever. A lot of times they're very insecure. People think they're mean and sometimes just very insecure. But the people that are the girls that people consider average, they know how to handle themselves. Yeah. Really good. But I used to talk, mess with them, whatever. And then the ones everyone was like, attention, nothing. So the chick, right? She, we're doing the assignment together. She's like, she ignored me. Don't want to talk to me. It's like, all right, whatever. After that day, I don't talk to her again. So I always talking to the other girls, her, nothing.
And she got upset. She's like,
bro,
she can't figure it out.
Listen, bro, this true story. Listen, she starts throwing little papers at me.
Oh, give me attention.
Nothing, bro. Nothing, like whatever, man. Nothing.
Stay there straight face.
Bro, listen, the thing ended up to where this is Miami High, you know what I mean? Night school, So you got all these dudes going on, all these Cubans out there going on their Mustangs,
poppies.
All them poppies, you know what I mean? And then I used to ride the bus to school. So I remember I used to leave the school and I used to do this on purpose, bro. When I was a kid, So I would sit outside and then all the guys were like trying to talk to the girl. Some of the guys would be like, yo, that's your girl. Nah, we're friends, we hang out together. As a kid, So like I was one of those kids that didn't have girls. Like I wanted to hang out with all the girls, whatever. So the kids would be like, yo, can I talk to her? Man, you want to talk to her? Go talk to her. I don't care. That's not. And all these kids would be trying to talk to her. Hey, I'll give you a ride home. When it was time to go, bro, I'd start walking to that bus. The girl's coming. Dropping her off home on the bus. And the kids would be like,
come ride my
bro,
bus,
but I wouldn't call her. She would just come. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the kids are like, how you do that? I was like, bro, that's it. And once again, this is a story for like a kid story, Like what? Exactly. I'm not trying, man. You guys are trying too hard, man. Yep. Yeah. I'm not trying
too hard.
But listen, that was a whole just side story. Dumb kid story, by the way. But it just like reminded me of that whole little thing. Yeah. But the main thing there was that teacher, to this day, he's very important. I got to find out his name.
He made an impact on me.
Made an impact on me. And like it made me enjoy his class. I would go to his, like I would, even when I was going to night school, I wouldn't go to a lot of classes, but I would always go to his class.
That's a skill.
Everybody paid attention in his class. He knew how to make the class fun. Bro, it's not easy to be a teacher, to work with kids, and be especially if because you teach like PE and coach. Yeah. That's gotta be rough, man, because you're dealing with high energy.
Yeah.
Kids going crazy. Short attention spans.
They're going crazy.
So if you can travel in time and talk to your younger self, what would be a piece of advice you would give yourself?
And honestly, one thing that I would tell myself, and, you know, I say it all the time, don't stop. You know, keep going. Don't take your foot off the pedal. Because in real life, sports, all that stuff, you take your foot off the pedal for a little bit, and there's somebody that's behind you that's not stopping. And what happens when you stop and they keep going? They're gonna pass you. You know, like that little time that I came back, I didn't do anything. So I took my foot off the pedal, and people were passing me. Mm-hmm. Don't stop. Keep going. Keep going to where you need to get to. You're gonna get there. This was for everybody. You're gonna get there. How you get there, it doesn't matter. All that matters is that you get there. You know, that was one thing that I would basically just tell myself, talking about 15, 16-year-old little me, freshman little me, and just keep going. Just start at quarterback. Just start going, man. Because you never know. It's not about how you get there. It's that you get there. So.
Nice. So before we wrap up, do you have any other pieces of advice for a young athlete, anything like that? Anything we might not have covered?
Honestly, be humble. Okay? That's a big one. Be humble.
That's definitely a big one.
Stay on top of your stuff. You know, don't let anything distract you. I know nowadays there's a lot of distractions.
Especially your friends.
Yeah, there's a lot of distractions nowadays, whether it be social media, your phone, your friends.
Yeah.
Stay focused, you know, because when you think that they're not watching, they're watching. And that's what I tell all the young athletes nowadays is like, oh, coach, but they can't see what I do. No, they have somebody in their staff, whether it be your coaching staff or in that whole college staff, that is watching somehow, some way. And you may think that you're smarter than them, but they've been doing this for a while already. So they know how to maneuver around everything.
Yep.
They're going to see you. A lot of times I see now these young athletes getting in trouble because they posted something.
Yep.
They said something. They did something, you know, it's like, man, why? You know? So that's another thing. Stay prepared, stay humble, watch yourself, and just have fun, you know, have fun. That's all I can tell the kids now.
Yeah, man, I definitely lost sight of having fun towards the end. That's why I got a little burned out, you know. It turned more into a job than having fun, and I lost sight of that.
That's the thing.
That's a good piece of advice.
That's a lot of things. And again, that staying focused part, we didn't have you and I growing up, we didn't have a lot of these distractions. We really didn't.
No.
We didn't have social media.
Nope.
I don't remember. Social media nowadays, you can put out a highlight film and that thing goes viral in 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Back then, remember, we had to burn the CD, put them in little slips, sign them,
send them out
on mail, and then you have to wait 2 weeks. I was like, man, bro, this is crazy, dude. Nowadays, I can upload a video.
A huddle.
And
just put your huddle up.
You go viral in minutes.
That's it.
So use that also. As young athletes, use that also because it's going to help you.
Yep.
And even if you think that, oh, man, I'm not going Division I,
there's hundreds of colleges.
There's hundreds of colleges that they need to spend money. You get a 4-year degree. And it doesn't matter if you went to Division I or you went to Division II, Division III. You got a 4-year degree, right?
Your school paid for.
You got a paper. You got that little paper that says you went to a 4-year degree and now you can explore your career path. Go for it. That's all you need.
Yep.
You need that. So
I like it. Well, guys, if you found anything that Baca or myself said or Jason useful, please subscribe, like, and share. We don't have any ads for that reason. Just keep it running, just move it on to someone else, whether it's a high school athlete or a parent, just pass it on, guys. Thank you for tuning in.